What's going on, everybody? Whew, man, this is this has been a frantic, frantic, frantic time trying to get this going and set up and all this stuff, trying to get things figured out and sorted. It's been crazy. I'll tell you what, it's been crazy. Hopefully the stream is going to go all right tonight. Hopefully, there's going to be no technical issues. I know last week the video and audio sync was way off for the majority of the podcast, and I apologize for that. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. I don't know what to do. I don't know if it's my computer or my internet because I know my internet has been struggling and all that stuff. So I don't really know how to fix that. So I apologize if that continues. But yeah, some of the stuff trying to deal with right before the stream or right before this podcast, my computer just decided it was going to start going crazy, start going nuts. And I had to restart it and try and turn off as much stuff running as I can to try and get it to go stable. Hopefully it's going to stick around. Hopefully it's going to be all right. Yeah, so dealing with that. And then something that I posted in my Telegram to let you guys know what's going on. PayPal has shut down my account. I can no longer receive or cash out or anything on my PayPal account. So there is no more PayPal donations coming in. To be transparent, because I like to be transparent with everything, basically I got an email from them saying that they locked my account because they considered my donations, which I've gotten 3 in the past month, and they considered that a business payment. And so they locked my account and said that I need to transfer to a business account and I need to do all this stuff and do all these things. And basically, that's not at all what I do. I don't do a business or anything. So they have locked me out because I will not play their games. I don't do that. So I was going around trying to find an alternative that can take credit cards and PayPal or and stuff like that. And I've been trying to find an alternative. So I don't know if I'm going to stick with them. I might. But there's a place called Give, Send, Go. And if you don't know what Give, Send, Go is, and I'm not endorsed or sponsored or anything by them, I just thought I'd let you guys know what's going on. If you don't know what Give, Send, Go is, if you remember back during the Honk Honk Canada like trucker protest and everything that was going on in Canada. They were raising money, and basically the company that they were using was GoFundMe. Because of what they were protesting, GoFundMe shut them down and they took money and all that stuff. Give, Send, Go stepped in as a Christian company similar to them, and they said that they were going to fund what was going on with the Canada protest and all that stuff. So they were in full support. They support freedom. They support their Christian company. They do all that stuff on the page and everything. On the Give page, they even have a thing where you can say that you're praying for the person and whatnot. So I have set up a Give, Send, Go page that you can, if you feel led to, you can donate there. I updated the description down below so you can check them out. As you can see, I've got a new bar down here, right here. It continues to change and I continue to edit. I don't know. I'm terrible at making those things. So I finally sat down, took time. I created my own icons, all those things I made myself and everything. I tried to make something nice, clean, that fit with everything, that looks nice. So I edited the bar. I've got the Give, Send, Go thing there. Also, I've got CashApp and Venmo. Those are still up. Even though Venmo is owned by PayPal, they haven't shut me down there yet. So I'm just going to leave that up for the time being. CashApp is still good. Also, make sure that you are on, or that you follow me on Odyssey, Rumble, and Telegram as well. So I've been dealing with that. Yeah. So it's been crazy. A lot of stuff going on. I think there was something else that just recently happened that I had to try and fix. I can't remember. My mind is in a whole bunch of different places. Anyways, so that's the situation with that. Like I said, I'm probably going to stick with Give, Send, Go. The thing on there is if you go on my page and you look on it, they actually have like a total raised. So it shows how much has been given. And like I said, I don't mind the transparency. I think it's great that you guys know about all this stuff. So, even if you guys can see how much is being given on there, oh, I don't care. I got nothing to hide. So, yeah, I'm probably going to stick with Give Some Go just because of who they are, what they stand for, and all that. And it seems to be working just fine. I got that all set up. So, but yeah, so that's what's been going on. So make sure don't use PayPal if you're going to donate here. New links updated down below if you want to do that. And then, of course, like I said, make sure you follow me on Odyssey, Rumble, and Telegram. Because the inevitable YouTube crash of taking me off their site is probably going to be coming soon. It's what they're doing. So, anyways, like I said, hopefully the stream holds up. Hopefully there's no issues. And if it goes out of sync, I apologize. There's really nothing I can do about that. So I apologize. But all right, that's enough of that spiel. That's enough of that stuff. Looks like we've got the chat here. Kim is here. Good to see you, Kim. We got Not of This World as well. Lisa's here. Hopefully you're doing all right. Trav, glad you're in chat. Glad you're here. Looks like you're having your own internet problems. So, yeah, I understand that wholeheartedly. So, okay, so we've got some stuff to talk about. Quite a bit of stuff. I'm going to try and get through it like we usually do. And so the title of it is called, this is episode 72, by the way. The title is called The Great Replacement. And I'm kind of using that in two different ways. One, we're talking about the great replacement of the financial system. And then the other one is we're going to be talking about the great replacement of people and all of that stuff. Looks like we've got Ray here as well. Hey, Ray, how you doing, man? Greetings from Texas. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday. Glad you're here. So, but yeah, we got some other stuff to talk about as well. So we're going to take a look at what's going on in the Middle East. We haven't really been there the past couple of weeks. There's been stuff going on, but nothing to like really report on. But we're going to talk about some of the stuff with the Israel and Iran situation is continuing to escalate, and it's escalating pretty quickly. So within the past 12 days, there's been about 4 major strikes between Israel and Iran. There's been some attacks on weapon shipments. Israel has attacked some weapon shipments in Syria that are Iranian weapon shipments. And then there was the Iranian drone strike on the Israeli tanker at the coast of Oman. Luckily, that only did minor damage. I don't believe anybody was injured or killed from that. But there's been a lot of stuff, and then some unusual attacks, like on Saturday, last Saturday, Israel struck a weapon shipments in Syria, killed a couple of officers there as well. Well, we're now getting intelligence that chemical weapons are being moved towards Lebanon and Syria border by Hezbollah. So basically, they're loading up their rockets with chemical warheads, and they're moving it towards the Lebanon-Syria border. If they plan on getting chemical with this, it's not going to go well. But that is good old Hezbollah doing what they do. After the reports of that, there was also reports that Israel was simulating a chemical attack procedure in Tel Aviv. So it looks like Israel has taken that intelligence seriously, and now they're getting their security and their first responders prepared for chemical attacks if that was to happen. So we've got that going on as well. So we're getting some definite escalation. Of course, we're getting the usual rhetoric of Iran is upping their uranium production and they're like 90%. And we continue to get that all the time. I don't really report on that stuff just because we know they've got the stuff ready. We're just getting, fake false numbers and all this stuff out there. So I don't want to feed you guys any false information on that. But looks like there's some escalation. We just have to see if Netanyahu is going to follow through on his stance that he portrays as far as Iran's nuclear program. So we'll see what happens there. Some of the other stuff going on as well in the Middle East is we've got a multiple offensive strike on the Kurds in both Syria and Iraq. We've got Turkey that is striking the Kurds in Syria, northern Syria, Operation Claw Sword. And then we've got Iran at the same time striking the Kurds in Iraq. So this is important to pay attention because we've got Turkey and Iran, two countries that we know are going to be main players in the Ezekiel 38 invasion. They are doing a unified attack against the Kurds. So they are working on their cohesion. They're working together militarily. This is, I guess, a joint task that they're doing at this. So it's very important that we pay attention to things like this where we see those specific countries, Turkey, Iran, Russia, Libya, and Sudan. If they're ever working together in some type of way, we definitely need to pay attention to that. And this is a big one because this is a unified strike against one group. So definitely something to pay attention to there. I also don't have it in my notes, and I put it in my Telegram, but I just thought I'd throw it in and let you guys know. A couple months back, there was a war that was about ready to break out between Serbia and Kosovo. Well, we're getting some information that the talks, the negotiations between the two have fallen through. And then the U.S. requested Kosovo to give 48 postpone the license plate fees for 48 hours. Basically, what that means is there's a large group of Serbians that live in Kosovo territory. Serbia does not recognize Kosovo's authority. And so they basically were about ready to go to war against Kosovo because Kosovo is trying to put laws on the Serbian people that live in the Kosovo region. So it's a whole lot of, we live in your region, but we don't recognize your region. And Kosovo is basically saying, well, you live in our region, so you have to abide by our laws. So it's a lot of that stuff happening there. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Obviously, that is not done, and there is a chance that something might break out further. So just thought I'd let you guys know on that. And with that, we've got Sally here. How you doing, Sally? Glad you're here. Oh, man. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday. Late is better than never. That's for sure. So glad you're here. Okay. So from here on out, normally I try to put a flow between subjects and topics and stuff, but it's not going to happen this week. So we're going to be jumping all over the place. So I will let you guys know when we're changing pace. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the natural events going on. And like last week, the earth has been shaking pretty big. I mean, we're getting a lot more large-scale earthquakes. So some of them, we got a 5.5 quake in Bengkulu, Indonesia, 5.8 quake in Lata, Solomon Islands, a 6.9 quake in Bengkulu, Indonesia again. So it went from a 5.5 to a 6.9. Keep in mind there are aftershocks happening there. I don't really report on anything under 5.5 though. Then we got a 5.4 quake in Mentone, Texas. Now, this is a 5.4, but it was in Texas, and so usually when we get some odd locations like that, I will let you guys know. So 5.4 quake in Mentone, Texas. 5.5 quake in Shaka Ridge, Africa. 5.5 quake in Fry, Greece. 5.6 quake in, man, there's no way I'm getting this one right. Siranjang Hilir, Shirazang Hilar, Indonesia. That's the best I can do, guys. And then we got a 7.0 quake in Honiara, Solomon Islands, a 6.0 quake in Honiara, Solomon Islands, and then a 6.2 quake in La Brisa, Baja, Mexico. So those are some of the quakes going on. I think I saw something where they said in the past 36 hours, there's been something like there so much earthquake force of like three point something atomic bombs or something. I can't remember, or 30 atomic bombs. I don't know. The earth is shaking really, really hard the past couple weeks. That's the best I can do. I can't remember the exact number, guys. I'm sorry, but it's pretty hardcore. And then as far as volcanoes, as of Sunday, there are 47 volcanoes erupting. So we're up a couple from last week. We're at 44 last week. 11 in North America, 7 in South America, 1 in Europe, 3 in Antarctica, 4 in Africa, 13 in Asia, and 8 in Oceania. So the volcanoes are starting to spring back up to life. Like that. So that's what is going on with the natural events. Now, we're going to switch over. I said we were going to talk about it last week. I just didn't have enough time to talk about it last week. We're going to talk about it now, and that is the reports of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York they're launching their pilot program for central bank digital currencies. We knew it was coming. So taking a little jaunt back, we've got back in March, if you remember, when Biden signed the executive order to study and prepare a central bank digital currency for the United States. Well, we've been waiting for something to happen. A couple months ago, I think like 2 months ago, I talked about how they announced a pilot program that was coming, but we had no information on it. We had no date or what they were going to be doing. Well, all of this is now starting to come to a head right now. Before that, what they have been testing is Project Cedar, phase 1 of Project Cedar. That has been in testing and they have completed it. Now, this gets interesting. Try and follow along with this. Guys, this is intense. This is intense, I'm telling you. Project Cedar had results of blockchain cross-border ledger transactions. So that's transactions across the blockchain, across different countries. Basically, they've got those settled in under 15 seconds. So payment will transfer in under 15 seconds compared to days like they use now. They use the Atomic Settlement Ledger Network. Keep the word atomic ledger in your head after this podcast. This is a system that is popping up in all of the different central bank digital currencies that they've been using. Atomic ledger. Hang on to that. Whenever you see that pop up, you'll know exactly what they're doing. Atomic Settlement Ledger Network means both sides of the transactions will be completed simultaneously or not at all. So this is basically no risk, no fraud type of system. That was another result of it. Another result is Cedar's ledger system allows 24/7, 365 transactions between all financial institutions, including central banks and private sector banks. So this is confirming what we already knew, that it wasn't just going to be the big banks, it was going to be for all the smaller banks. Basically, play the central bank's game or close down. That's what they're working with on that. Now, again, I mentioned a couple months ago about how that was Project Cedar, just to make sure we know that we're separating. That has already been running. People really had no idea what was going on. I didn't know it was going on until the results were published. Now, we're at the point where they announced this Federal Reserve Bank of New York, their pilot program. The next step taking place is a 12-week pilot program with major banks, and it was announced November 15th, so it's already been going on. This was last Tuesday. Like I said, I wanted to talk about it, didn't have enough time. The banks include BNY Mellon, Citi, HSBC, MasterCard, PNC Bank, TD Bank, Truist, US Bank, and Wells Fargo. There's some other ones involved. I don't have their names exactly, but all the reports that I've seen it in multiple reports. There are other banks involved. They're just not named. Basically, tokens will be issued and used to settle wholesale transactions. We've seen this in other countries that they've been testing, where they're giving them these central bank digital currencies, and they're going to be testing the wholesale transaction. Remember, the wholesale is the bank to bank. Retail is for us to use. So this is the bank to bank stuff. So they've been testing the cross border. Now they're testing in country. So they're getting this stuff ready to go for the United States. The next step on the ledger system will focus on technical, legal, and business over cross-border speed and access like Cedar. So basically what they're doing is all of the stuff that they've been testing with the cross-border transactions, they're now trying to test internally. They're trying to get the speed, they're trying to get the how it works for business, they're trying to get all the legal stuff, which yeah, that's a joke. Yeah, the legality of it, right. So they're testing all that for just the United States banks to go with it. So they're now in the process of getting it ready for here. So that's what they announced last Tuesday. Now, going back to Project Cedar. They tested Project Cedar Phase 1, and we just talked about the results of that. Now they are testing Project Cedar Phase 2. Okay. Hang with me, guys. I'm going to try and make this as easy to understand as possible because there's a lot of the mumbo jumbo technical stuff that can get crazy. So I'm going to do my best. If you guys need something, please put it in the chat. I will do my best to explain it because I want you guys to know what is going on. Project Cedar Phase 2 is about hooking up with a system called UBIN Plus. UBIN, UBIN Plus. This connection will test. It's being tested and it's not being discussed. So they're getting all of this stuff connected to this UBIN Plus system, and they're not discussing it publicly like they announced the Federal Reserve. We have reports on it, but they're not actively discussing it. Basically, what UBIN Plus is it's a group that is overseen by a group called Hedera and Partior. Hedera and Partior. Partior or Partior? Partior. Now, these two groups, Hedera is a WEF partner and has a governing council from these different banks and corporations. Governing council from DBS, pay attention to that company, DBS. Boeing, Chainlink Labs, that's the other one to pay attention to. So DBS and Chainlink. EDF, IBM, Deutsche Telekom, Google, FIS, Standard Bank, LG, Nomura, Shinhai Bank, UCL, Ubisoft, Swirlds, and others. This is the overall governing council. All these people in these corporations are overseeing UBIN, Hedera, all of that. Hedera creates blockchain crypto systems and smart contracts and handles tokens like NFTs. Those are your non-tangible stuff, like things in the metaverse and all of that. So they handle, it's all blockchain crypto, smart contracts, and handles tokens like NFTs. Now, if you're like me, you were like, what is a smart contract? I had no idea what it was, but luckily I found a video from not too long ago of a man at the IMF conference who discussed what it is. I'm going to let him tell you what smart contract is.
The third way we think CBDC can improve financial inclusion is through what we call programmability. That is, CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contract, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized. for example, for food. So this potential programmability can help government agencies to precisely target their support to those people who need support. So that way can also improve financial inclusion. Of course, I want to end with a caveat, because CBDC is not a panacea. CBDC cannot solve every challenge in financial inclusion. There are some aspects of financial inclusion is not related to technology. For example, financial literacy, digital literacy. So CBDC has to work with other policies together to try to improve financial inclusion. I stop here.
So, a smart contract is the programmability and the determination of who gets what type of money and how they can use it. That's what a smart contract is. So we knew what a smart contract was before, but we didn't know what they were calling it. That's what that stands for. So basically, it's the programmability and the how the person can use it and what they can use it for. That's what a smart contract is. So this Hedera, who is working with Partier on this Ubin project, basically creates smart contracts using blockchain crypto. That's what Hedera is using, and it's overseen by all these groups, including DBS and Chainlink. Remember, keep that in mind. Now, Partier, the person that they're working with on this Ubin project, is a cross-border interbank payment system invested in by JB Morgan and DBS. So you've got DBS that is involved with both Hedera and Partier, and they're both working on Ubin, and Ubin is now being worked on connected to Project Cedar, which the United States is using. You guys following along now? Hopefully I didn't lose you guys. I'm trying my best to make sure this all is cohesive and understandable. Now, Partier is connected to 20 countries because they've been focusing on the cross-border stuff. So you've got Hedera, who focuses on the contracts and the blockchain crypto and the NFTs. Then you've got Partier that works on the cross-border stuff to 20 different countries. Australia, China, Hong Kong, Netherlands, Singapore, Thailand, United States, Bahrain, France, India, New Zealand, Sweden, UAE, Vietnam, Canada, Germany, Japan, Philippines, Taiwan, and the UK. Those are all the ones that are involved with Partier. They're connected to all those. Those are all the central banks of those countries. All right, so those are the two groups that are working on Ubin, which the United States is using with Project Cedar. Now, I told you about DBS. Now, Chainlink system. Here we go. This is what's important about this. Ubin Plus uses the Chainlink system, which is the same program that Swift is using for their sandbox program. I talked about this months ago, how Swift was working on the sandbox program for cross-border crypto central bank digital currency transfers. So Ubin is using Chainlink system, the same thing that Swift is using. Swift Sandbox is working with 17 central banks and commercial banks to test here it is again, the Atomic Ledger cross-border system. You see how all of this is all connected using the same programs? Here it is. Just like the Federal Reserve New York is using with Cedar, Project Cedar. The Atomic Ledger cross-border platform, Ubin, and Chainlink system are being used with all the central banks, with all the projects that they're using. They're using the same systems. Doesn't stop there. Oh yeah, I'm about to ruin the Bitcoin boys' days right here. What brings this all together is the Chainlink system. The Chainlink system facilitates the entire crypto industry, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. The two coins that everybody says is separate from crypto. They said, nah, crypto, those are garbage coins. They can just go away. They mean nothing. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two coins. They're actually something. Chainlink, which processes the crypto systems, also use Bitcoin, also is used for Bitcoin and Ethereum. The two big digital currencies that people say can save crypto in the economy and create a free market cannot work without Chainlink. Chainlink is the same thing that is used for crypto, and it's the same thing being used on Project Ubin Plus. The very same system being used to bring in the central bank digital currencies is partnered with the WEF and groups like Hedera and Partier. So your Bitcoin saves this, does not. It's on the same exact platform that the central bank digital currencies are coming into. If that's not confirmation enough, if you ever look into who created Bitcoin, nobody has any idea. It could be one man, it could be a group of people. It goes by some random name, Satoshi something. Nobody has a clue who created Bitcoin. I've got an idea because it's using the same thing, Chainlink. So, Project Ubin Plus, Chainlink, Atomic Ledger. When you start seeing those things, you now know exactly what they're connected to. Bitcoin doesn't save this. No, it doesn't. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about this FTX thing. I'm not going to go in depth. I'm not going to do a whole thing. I just want to put a couple things about it. As far as the FTX crash, if you don't know what's going on, FTX, they went through a massive collapse pretty much. Over 20 different funds have fallen out because of it. It's over like 20 billion lost. All this stuff. There's money that's gone. Nobody knows where it's at. Bankman-Fried, he hasn't been arrested. There's all this stuff about shady deals going back and forth. If you look into him and his family, he has multiple connections to the WEF. He's fully on board with all the U.S. politicians and Clintons and all that stuff, investors and everything. And then you look at the COO of FTX. Her name is Constance Wong or Wang. I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. But if you look at her past, she was on the risk board for Credit Suisse. And if we remember, Credit Suisse just went through a major collapse, causing a shockwave across a bunch of other European banks. And it is in connection with when the Vatican withdrew all their financial assets out of Credit Suisse to put them into the Vatican Bank. So she's been connected to the Credit Suisse collapse, and she's been connected to the FTX collapse. She's got some connections higher up as well. This FTX thing was not an accident. This FTX thing is not just some stupid kid that had too much money and he made a mistake and it fell through. This FTX thing is completely planned. They knew what they were doing. They're taking out the crypto market right now. My guess, I'm not saying this is fact and this is what's happening, but my guess is they are trying to create the system where the central bank digital currency will come in and save the day type of thing. So they've got to take this out in order to bring in the CBDCs. So that's kind of what's going on with the FTX thing. Like I said, I'm not going to go in depth and all that stuff. It really doesn't matter at this point. We just know the outcome of what is happening because of it. And we know who's involved behind the scenes with it. So that's what's going on with the announcement of the pilot program, the Project Cedar, the Ubin, as well as this FTX stuff. Hopefully all of that made sense. Hopefully you guys got the gist of how that's going. Like I said, though, keep those names in your mind. Chainlink, Atomic Ledger, and Ubin Plus. Keep those in your mind because those three things seem to be controlling this one world economy that they're building. Because every single central bank that is building a central bank digital currency are using those three things. Bitcoin doesn't save this. It does not. So, so that's what's going on with that. Now, an outcome from this, some of the other things that we're seeing as far as financial stuff goes, Van City Bank in Canada is now offering a credit card that tracks carbon emissions. So yeah, here we go, the carbon currency stuff again, but we're seeing more and more of the push for these carbon credit cards. We talked about the MasterCard stuff and the dichotomy card and all that stuff. Well, Van City Bank in Canada is offering their card. It will allow customers to track their monthly carbon footprint, of course. And then also with that, we see that Australia's Commonwealth Bank is also offering something similar. But they don't have a card out yet, but what they're offering is paying a fee to the bank to offset their carbon limit. So you can pay to lower your carbon price. So if we take a jaunt back to an airwave I did a while ago, the carbon currency airwave, I talked about how there was a lady, I can't remember her name. Oh, that's gonna bug me. I can't remember her name. But she was talking about how the poor can sell their carbon credits to the rich. The poor will get paid, and then the rich will have more carbon to use so they can spend their money. So this is where this is going in. If you're rich, you can pay the bank to offset your carbon so you can get more carbon. So the rich get more carbon allowance, and the poor can sell it for money. The thing is if the poor has the money but no carbon to actually buy anything, they're locked out anyways. You see the conundrum that they're building for the poor. But this is exactly what we were talking about months ago that they were trying to do, basically creating another system where the poor can sell their extra carbon for the rich. Well, Australia's Commonwealth Bank is now offering that. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, if we switch over to Scotland as far as IDs go, digital IDs, Scotland is preparing to roll out a digital ID platform next year that will connect to Social Security, the NHS healthcare system, and Experian credit. I'll say that again. Digital ID platform that will connect to Social Security, the NHS healthcare system, and Experian credit. Your health, retirement, and finances will all be connected to this digital ID. Scotland is getting ready to roll it out next year. They said that's what they're going to do. The Disclosure Scotland pilot will begin in 2023, allowing users to have all services in one convenient digital package. They're going to kill you with convenience. We've talked about this. That's what they're doing. From the website, it says Disclosure Scotland helps employers make safer decisions when they're recruiting people. So this is about if you want to get a job, you hand them your digital ID or you have them scan it or whatever, and it will allow them to hire you based on that. So you don't have to write down a job application form with all your different information and stuff. You'll just have it, like I said, one convenient package. Basically, if you don't follow the rules, no employment, no travel, no recreation, or as we know, Scripture says, no shopping. They are preparing, this is not the mark of the beast, but they're preparing it for the mark of the beast because that mark is going to have everything. It's going to have you, and it's going to have, like we talked about last week, it's going to have your digital twin on there. It's going to know more about you than you know about yourself. That's what they're preparing with this stuff. And they're getting it ready with the finances on there. So just wait until they start attaching UBI and the central bank digital currencies and all that stuff to it. It's going to control your life. It's going to control your life. Now, if that's not enough on digital IDs, if that is what's going on, did the screen freeze? It's not frozen on my end. Doesn't look frozen on my end. Is anybody else having issues like Kim? I'm not getting anything here. No. All right. Kim, I think it might be on your end. You might need to refresh your page. I think you might need to refresh your page. Man. Everybody's having technical problems. Everybody. But as far as digital IDs go, let's take a jaunt over to India. Okay. If you thought what Scotland was doing was bad, wait until you see what is going on with India. This is freaky. India is working to expand their Aadhaar digital ID system. Aadhaar, Aadhaar, digital ID system by assigning individual digital IDs to citizens at birth. They're getting ready to assign a digital ID at birth. I wonder if they're going to, I don't know, start putting like a number on people or a barcode on people when they're born. That can't be too far away if they're not planning on doing that. I mean, it can't be too far away. This will basically be a social security number, but built directly into a digital ID. So, you know how like now when somebody, when a child is born, you get the birth certificate, you sign up for the social security and all that. Basically what they're doing with this is they're going to make that and just transfer it to a digital ID at birth. They're going to start assigning these numbers at birth. At age 5, the child's fingerprints and eye retina scans are recorded and attached to the Aadhaar digital ID system. They're going to put in your fingerprints and your eye retina scan. Then at age 15, you will update both of your fingerprint and your retina scan, and that will be updated into your digital ID system. Here's where it gets freaky. Aadhaar's program currently has 1.34 billion people in its registry. Now, this isn't the full digital ID system yet. They're getting ready for that. But the Aadhaar program has 1.34 billion people. India's entire population is 1.41 billion. They've almost got the entire country. Almost have the entire country in the Aadhaar registry program. And then they're going to start assigning these digital IDs to the children at birth. They are fully preparing for this system. We're seeing more and more of it, including at the recent G20 summit, which Klaus Schwab spoke at. I didn't know he was a part of the G20. But the recent G20 summit also discussed a global digital health certificate, aka a vitamin passport. If you don't know what vitamin means, try and follow along. A vitamin passport for the next pandemic. Now, I have a video for this, but because we're on YouTube, I don't even want to take the chance of putting it on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that video and I'm going to post it on my Telegram tonight. So if you're not on my Telegram, make sure you're on there. I will post this video of them talking about getting this passport, which everybody thought, oh, we're past it. We're done. We don't need it. No, they're still going to do it. And they're talking about the next pandemic. So I'll post that video on my Telegram tonight if you want to check that out. So make sure that you're on there. So we're seeing a global push. I mean, we went from Scotland to India to the entire world pretty much on all these different digital IDs that they're trying to get through. They're trying to prepare and get ready. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. We know it's going to be attached to UBI. We know it's going to be attached to central bank digital currency. We definitely know that this stuff is going to be going through. We might see the very, very beginning of this stuff. Like I said, we're already seeing Aadhaar program getting ready. We're already seeing Scotland getting their stuff ready. But as far as a global, you have to take it, mark of the beast type thing, that's going to be later. That's going to happen in the tribulation. We're not going to be here. Jacob's trouble, that's all going to be in there. But I mean, like I said, we're right on the cusp here where we're seeing these things roll out. Like I guess the Transformer Autobots would say, which Transformer, transhuman. You see the connection there? Yeah, there's definitely a connection there. Sorry to ruin your childhood if you're a Transformers fan, but it's basically what it's about. But we're seeing this thing. I mean, it's right there. And we're seeing these pilot programs taking place. It's absolutely crazy. What you got, Sally? Eye scan reminds me of the scripture in Zechariah about how the worthless shepherd will get a wound. And yeah. Yeah, it's like a mortal wound that he'll survive type. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing you see with as far as the Illuminati. There's a connection there if people don't realize it, but the all-seeing eye, the one eye that's in reference to, the mortal wound that's going to happen with the eye. So it's a one eye thing. So that's what the all-seeing eye represents. If people haven't made that connection, just thought I'd throw that out there. So that's where that stuff happens. So whenever you see like celebrities and stuff like that, where they do this, you'll see that a lot with celebrities where they cover up one eye. That's a signal for that. It's a representation for all of that stuff. It's the same thing like if you look at Christian music albums, secular albums either, but I'm going to call out the Christian music albums. If you look at like Toby Mac, where he's got the album Eye on it, it literally has one eye on the cover. You look at Skillet's, I think it's Monster album, or no, Awake album. It shows like a mummified face with one eye showing. That's all signs and signals that represent the one world religion that's coming, the mystery religion. That's what all that stuff represents. That's the all-seeing eye, everything. It's all wrapped up in there, masonry, all that stuff. I'm going to go off on a tangent if I don't stop myself now. But that's what all that stuff represents, if you haven't placed it all together. So we'll talk about something kind of connected to that at the end. But we got to continue with what we're doing here. Let's talk about the other half of the Great Replacement. We talked about the Great Replacement of the financial stuff. Now let's talk about the Great Replacement, the conspiracy. There's actually a conspiracy called the Great Replacement. It's not a conspiracy. Conspiracy theories are basically spoiler alerts. It's, when somebody says it's a conspiracy theory, wait 6 months, it'll be reality. That's basically what it is. The Great Replacement continues to be mocked as a conspiracy theory, but we're seeing an active agenda to destroy both the United States and Europe from the inside, not the outside. Everybody's expecting a full-on war to come in. There's going to be wars later, but as far as taking it down, they're working it on the inside. First, we're seeing thousands, and I mean thousands, of fit young males going by boat into Europe. This has been in discussion for years. It is kicked up drastically recently. Like I said, it's been going on for years, but starting in 2021, it has an extreme increase in numbers. Everybody wants to talk about how it's asylum seekers, the refugees. There's no women and children on these boats. There's no old men on these boats. There's none of that. It is young, fit males. We're seeing well over 500,000 armed fighters within Germany alone, which the government claims to be asylum seekers. How do we know that they're armed fighters? Border police are confirming this by saying that these are fighters and they're coming across with weapons, loaded weapons. These are not poor, old women or children. These are young, fit male fighters coming over with weapons. And this is well over 500,000 in just Germany alone. This isn't counting all of the other European states and countries out there. They are basically infiltrating, getting set up and ready. These are Muslims. These are Muslim men. Now, we're seeing a similar thing in the United States, but a bit more hidden if you're not looking for it. There's been hundreds of planes coming in from the Muslim countries in the Middle East, and they are landing in the United States. They're going back and forth coming from the Middle East, loading up the United States with Muslim men. I know a lot of people are thinking, what about the southern border? Well, the southern border is happening too. But just like Europe, we're seeing a boatload, a plane load, however you want to put it, of Muslim men infiltrating both Europe and the United States. And to add to that, just recently, Chuck Schumer has come out saying that America is not reproducing on its own and we must rely on illegals He said refugees and or whatever fancy word that they want to put on there, but basically we must rely on illegals to fill the worker position. So he's blaming the drop in workers and the economy because America is not reproducing like they used to. We'll get to that in a second. South American illegals are who he's talking about. Just like Europe, it's fit young males crossing the border by the thousands a day. We're not seeing old, poor women, children crossing the border. No, we're seeing young, fit males. So we've got young, fit Muslim males going into Europe. We've got young, fit Muslim men getting planed into the United States. And we've got young, fit men coming up from the southern border. The WEF has openly spoken of no borders and the removal of independent nations. We know this. They even mentioned in a video how people need to start getting more acclimated for foreigners to be coming into their countries. All over the United States and Europe, foreigners are beginning to overtake the nationally born citizens. They are creating an interchangeable army of not only workers but soldiers. Whether these useless idiots, the illegals, know it or not. I believe that the Muslim men know it because as far as the Muslims, according to the Quran, their goal is to convert or kill by any means necessary. That means convert to Islam or be killed. Brute strength, false peace, or infiltration is how they're going to do it. We know about the false peace stuff that they're supposedly working out with Israel. We talked about that a while ago. Brute strength, we've been seeing that in the Middle East for years and years and years and years and years. We've been seeing that. But we're seeing the infiltration. They're coming in from the they're coming in and they're going to be doing work from the inside. This is the Great Replacement. It is happening. The Great Replacement, whether you want to admit it or not, is happening right now. Most look at these as just a border crisis, but this is an active takeover and a demolition of both United States and Europe. And it's being planned, it's being put together, it's being funded by these people because that's what they want. The WEF has said this is what they want. It's been going on for years, but like I said, it's gained serious momentum in 2021. Like I said, we've seen it for years, but just recently, the past couple of years, it's really started to gain momentum. So the question is, if you're the Great Replacement, how do you diminish the population that you're trying to replace? How do you decrease the population? We're seeing that in the U.S., Europe, and even places like China and Japan and Korea. We're seeing reports all over the board about reduction of population. Let's focus on the U.S. on this aspect for a second. One of the ways that you decrease population is through the alphabet agenda. You use the alphabet agenda by brainwashing people into unbiblical relationships that don't reproduce. You begin to reduce the population. So if you get a bunch of people to switch to unbiblical relationships, you cannot produce offspring. You can't produce children. So the alphabet agenda is fully a part of that. Trans agenda, the gay agenda, all that stuff. That is how you use it. And then, of course, you get rewarded for things like the San Francisco Transgender UBI Bill, which has just been introduced, where if you're a part of the alphabet community, if you're transgender, even something as being classified as a tomboy, you can sign up for San Francisco's UBI system, where they will pay you $1,200 a month just because you're transgender. That's right. So we've got the alphabet agenda that's a part of that. Another aspect of it is inflation. Inflation is actually a part of this. If you create an economies where it's expensive to thrive, expand, and reproduce, people aren't going to have kids. If everything is too expensive, you're either going to reduce how many kids you're going to have, or you're just not going to have any at all. So inflation is part of that. Another aspect of it is destroying the patriarchy order, God's order of family. That's how you destroy it. So getting women to take over rule to take over roles designed for men is part of it. So if you get women out of the structure that God has created and the empowerment, women empowerment type of stuff, and you put them into the workforce, you put them into positions where they're out of the house, they're not taking the mother perspective, they're not having kids because women empowerment, I'm going to work, financial needs, it pushes back either the timing of having kids, it pushes back how many kids you are going to have, or they're just not going to have kids altogether. So the women taking the jobs, that job has now filled that position. So it's destroying the patriarchy, getting women out of the role that God assigned for them. It has nothing to do with value. Women and men have the same value, just in different areas. We have different roles, but that is part of it. And then the last one, I'm sure you can pretty much guess it, but I can't go into details about it because we're on YouTube, and it involves vitamins. It involves vitamins, and this has been proven. These vitamins have been proven to nuke the reproductive systems of men and women, both. There's a lot of reports out there. I can't go into detail about it on here. You can check it out if you want to. I'm talking about vitamins. Check out what vitamin I'm talking about. That's been going on. And yeah, as Sally has pointed out, the population is at 8 billion right now. But it has drastically slowed down, and where the population is, man, my nose really itches. But it's drastically slowed down, and where the population is spiking is in, Muslim areas. They're in South America areas. They're in other places other than Europe and the United States. I mean, take a look at China. If you look at the numbers of their population, it is drastically fallen. That's for sure. So that's what's going on as far as the Great Replacement goes. We know there's infiltration happening. We're seeing that these are soldiers that are getting involved, and we know the replacement involves depopulation of births in countries other than Muslim countries and all that. So that's been happening, and it's a full-on agenda: alphabet agenda, inflation, patriarchy, and vitamins. Those dang vitamins. Don't ban me, YouTube. All right, so we're going to move on. We're almost done, guys. It's going to be kind of a shorter one, but we're almost done. We're going to take a look at a bill in the United States called H.R. 8404. This is the Respect for Marriage Act. That's what they call it, at least. That's what they call it, at least. The Respect for Marriage Act. Basically what it is, it's a bill that's been introduced and passed. It's passed the House, and it passed the cloture vote, the Senate cloture votes 62-37. This is a bill to require all 50 states to recognize same-sex marriage. That's what they're working on right now. Passed the House, and it passed the Senate cloture vote 62-37. The bill has been supported by the Mormon Church. I posted that on my Telegram. The Church of Latter-day Saints has come out in support of this thing, which I continue to see a lot of Christians talking about the Chosen series. I'm going to throw this in. Yeah, the Chosen series is produced and written and all that by the LDS Church, by the Mormon Church, and Jesus is played by a Catholic. If you're watching the Chosen series, you really need to not. You really need to not. That is part of the unification of religions. It's part of the one world religion, the mystery religion. The Chosen is a part of that. You really need to not. I've got a video on it if you want to check it out. It's all about why not watch The Chosen. You can search that up on my channel. Like I said, I've seen a bunch of Christian chats lately talking about how they just absolutely love that show, and you need to not. Just not. Mormon Church is a part of it. Don't. And the director and main writer Dallas Jenkins has come out and said he has no idea what the difference between the Mormon religion and the Christian religion is. He has no idea. He thinks it's the same Jesus. It's not the same Jesus at all. But continuing on with this, I've been going on a lot of rabbit trails tonight. Sorry. But continuing on with this, like I said, the bill has been supported by the Mormon Church, the LDS Church, and was helped pass through by Republicans. Okay, I don't get political on this channel, I told you, but when it comes to direct stuff like this, I will mention it. Yes, there's been multiple Republicans, I think it's 12, that were in support of this thing and helped it pass through. This is the days of deception that I continue to talk about. Do not be fooled by the same party, same values deception. Everybody thinks that you just, oh no, we just need to vote Republican no matter what, and they don't even look into what it is. They don't even look into what these people stand for and the values that they have. Well, we're seeing it here where just because they're Republican does not mean that they stand on conservative values. And supporting same-sex marriage is not a conservative value at all. Don't be fooled by the days of deception. Politics is a very evil tool that Satan is using. Unfortunately, we do have to be in that muck, that mud. But that's what we got to do. So that's what's going on with that. We're still waiting. We know Biden supports the thing, so we just got to wait and see if it's going to pass Senate, and then we know it'll pass Biden from there. So that's what's going on with that. So Sally says, I don't watch The Chosen anymore. I am very glad to hear that, Sally. Very glad. What do we got? Michael, what's going on, Michael? Glad to see you, man. One of these days I'll be able to catch the whole live show. Either way, man, I am glad that you're here. Glad. If you, whatchamacallit, sounds like you just got here, but if you go back, I made sure to do earthquakes and volcanoes again this week. So I just wanted to say, I know I put it in on your on the comment. I replied to your comment, but I do want to say thank you for holding me accountable for that. I definitely need to continue to do that. So I do appreciate you reminding me on that. So don't take it as like I'm making fun of you or anything. I do appreciate that you held me accountable on that. So glad you're here, though. Glad you're here. And if you missed the rest of the show, you know it's re-uploaded. It should be uploaded so afterwards. So okay, so we're gonna finish this off. Oh boy. It's just, yeah, we're going to finish it off with something just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's been going around. It's called the Holy Spirit board game. The Holy Spirit board game. Good timing. A lot of Christians are getting very deceived these days. Very true. And we see it with the Chosen series. We see it with the politics. And now we see it with board games. The Holy Spirit board game is basically, I can't show pictures. You can look it up though. It's called the Holy Spirit board game. It's basically a Ouija board. It's a quote unquote Ouija board. It's a Ouija board disguised as a Christian game. That's what it is. It has this infinity symbol in the middle, and basically what they say is it allows you to communicate directly with Jesus. That's what it's about. So it's a board. It's got this infinity symbol in the middle, and then it's got the crucifix, of course, with Jesus on the cross. If you don't know, we know the Christian cross does not have Jesus on it. We know the Catholic cross does. That's because Jesus is no longer on the cross. He was resurrected. He's no longer dead. So that's why, as Christians, we don't use crosses that has Jesus still on there. So if you didn't know that, that's why. Well, on this game, this Ouija board, it has the crucifix on there with Jesus still on the cross, the infinity symbol. And like I said, it's about communicating directly with Jesus. If you're a Christian, if you're saved, you have the Holy Spirit within you, you have a direct line with God. You have a direct line with God. You don't have to use some board to communicate. That's part of the perks. I mean, if that's when That's part of the perks of it. I mean, I know a lot of people might not like the word perk, but it's part of the perks of having the Holy Spirit within us. When you get saved, he comes into us and we have a direct line with God. That's how it works. We can go to him with all of our problems, and he will look at us, and he will love us and take care of us and listen to us, and he will communicate directly back with us as well. That's why we have the Bible. He talks to us through the Bible. He uses people. He uses events. We don't need a Ouija board game to communicate that way. That's why we have prayer. But they're offering this. This is not Christian at all. You are definitely not talking to the Holy Spirit or Jesus or God through this thing. That's for sure. Now, like I said, the board has the infinity symbol on it. You check it. You can go back and check out my One World Religion series 1 and 2. I think it's the first one I talk about, or I don't remember. I think it's the first one I talk about the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol represents balance. And if you pay attention to a lot of the modern spiritual religions out there, they always talk about balance, making sure you're in alignment, having proper balance, like yoga and balance. Yeah, if you're a Christian, don't do yoga either. That's getting into basically putting yourself into Egyptian worship positions. You're making your body an antennae for demonic spirits. That's what yoga is. So if you're a Christian, don't do yoga either. I'm really going off on some stuff, but just roll with me here. I haven't had a chance to do this in a while. But the infinity symbol represents balance. When you see things like that, same thing with like the 4-leaf clover and all these other signs that you've seen, the heartogram, all of that stuff, it represents balance. It's about evening things out. It's a occultic symbol. It's an occultic symbol. That's what it is. And then if you look at the Amazon pictures, so if you go on Amazon and you search up the board game, they've got pictures. One of the promotional pictures that they have on there is the board with 4 people sitting around it, and they've got incense burning. They've got candles going. If you look at the clothing of one of the people sitting there, it's got moons on there. That's getting, again, into mystery religion, the one world religion, the moon symbol, the moon goddess, Semiramis. That's how all that works. It's got moons on there, which is occultic. You'll also notice another pair of hands that are on the table that are doing the pyramid sign. So we talked about, how some celebrities, they take pictures with the one eye type of thing. Well, another thing that you'll see celebrities doing and a lot of people doing is this. You'll see them with their hands in this shape. That's the pyramid shape. All-seeing eye, usually on the pyramid. It's on the back of the money. You can look it up yourself. Well, a pair of hands that is in the promotional picture for this game also they have their hands laying on the table in the shape of a pyramid. Somebody just doesn't naturally sit there with their hands like this on a table. No, they did that on purpose. Same with the moon clothing of the other person. Like I said, they've got candles and seance stuff and other various amulets sitting on the table and stuff. This is straight occultic. It's straight occultic. This is not Christian by any means at all. And actually, if you look up some of the reviews on there, there's a lot of people on there just bashing. I mean, they're dropping bombs on that thing because they realize that it is not Christian at all. So, but yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know about that. All right, that's all I got. That's all I got this week. So I don't want to overload you guys. It is Thanksgiving week. I want to urge you guys. I posted it on my Telegram on Monday, but I do want to urge you guys. If there is ever a week to share Jesus with somebody, if there's ever a week to share the gospel with somebody, this is the week to do it. Because I don't know about you guys, but there is nothing more to be thankful for than Jesus saving my soul. That is the greatest, absolute greatest gift and the ultimate thing to be thankful for. So, just want to urge you guys, share the gospel with somebody this week. Family, friends, some stranger, doesn't matter. Make it a goal to share Jesus with somebody, because there's absolutely no other better gift than that, without a doubt. So, and other than that, if you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. If you're not, happy Thursday. So, either way, share the gospel with somebody. We are crunch time, down to the wire, and we need to drag every last person across that line that we possibly can. That's for sure. So, all right, that's all I got. Hopefully, the stream went okay tonight. Hopefully, there wasn't too many problems. I know it's really annoying when audio and video don't sync up properly, so I apologize for that. I'm doing the best I can. So, yeah, so with that usual spiel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Get this out there with as many people as you can. And then make sure you follow me, Odyssey, Rumble, and Telegram. Odyssey and Rumble if my YouTube goes down. I need 100 subscribers on Rumble to live stream on there. Odyssey, I don't have a restriction on there, but I know it's definitely not used as much. But if something happens to my YouTube channel, make sure you're on my Telegram, because I will inform you guys what I'm doing at that point. So it's good to be on all three of those. And then if you feel led to, donations, I've got CashApp, Venmo, and then the new Give, Send, Go. Links down below if you feel led to donate and give to this ministry. Always appreciated. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. So you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great rest of your week and all of that jazz. So Lord willing, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Please, Jesus, come soon. Maranatha. All right, peace out, guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.